What's up? Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And today I'm gonna be talking about downsizing. Okay. So the title of this whole documentation is, based around being an adult, having a financial crisis coming, and having lived this cycle over and over again and seeing it growing up. Just choosing to handle things differently. So one of the main things that I will always push on here is not blowing up assets. We're not blowing up assets to save ourselves from minor problems. Now, big things, mortgages or big car loans, I really don't have the knowledge well, I don't have the experience to speak about those, but I do know about overdrafting. I do know about selling out of my 401k, and I do know about starting businesses and then mixing my business money with my personal money and then not being ready for the next level of business, whether it be scaling up or just reing up on more product. Okay, so the last time I made a video, I talked about having some things coming up, and I was not going to be ready to pay them. I wasn't, but being older, more experienced, and having a wealth building and asset building mindset, I wanted to document how I attacked this problem differently. Okay, so in the past, when I've had big issues that were big to me at the time, but really was a consequence of my poor budgeting or lack of preparation for an emergency. I would have back rent, back payments, things like that that will require me to need emergency money, 500, 1,000, 1,200. And I would make a decision that I thought was saving me, but the only issue with the decision was that number one, I was destroying something that was good. So whether it was a bank account that was in good standing, or a 401k that had built up over a year between my contribution and my employer's contribution, these were things that allowed me to navigate, like a normal person versus another type of lifestyle that just all cash. I know guys to this day don't even do cash app, you know, they just all cash. And I get it, but things are changing. So now that I have moved forward, maybe about 2 weeks or even three at this point, I would like to talk about downsizing. So I had a storage unit that came up in collections, and I was not ready to pay for it. I could not pay for it. The only way to pay for it was to sell out of my 401k or sell out some of my 401k, and I couldn't do it. I just could not do it. I requested the hardship withdrawal, um, you know, justified it by saying, oh, they have COVID penalty of forgiveness and things like that. But I just kept looking at it. I'm like, man, 2,000? So I got the paperwork. I looked at it, and I eventually I didn't sign it. I just ripped it up, and I just basically said it's not worth it. It's not worth it when the storage unit just had so much to to do. I had the product that I had in there had to be sold. It was just a headache. So it got auctioned off, and surprisingly, I got a check back because I believe they auctioned it off for more than what it was worth. So that's one level. But the takeaway message in that is that I did not blow up my 401k. I still have it. It's still growing. My company is still matching now, even though I'm not currently contributing, per Dave Ramsey and the like, who do not like um, people to invest when they are digging themselves out of holes. But regardless, you know, the things that I hold in my 401k that I actually manage myself pay dividends and are going to have good growth. So I'm glad to see that, and I'm glad to still have it, and it's actually a weight off my shoulders to have that storage unit and all that product. It was a lot. It was a lot. And quite frankly, I got into that situation because it was a lot and it was more than I can handle. So moving forward, just to establish another goal so that I can continue on this journey and establish some type of accountability, I currently rent a vehicle, okay? And this is another part of downsizing that I believe in, that I'm going to implement on this journey, okay? And this journey is a wealth building journey, an asset building journey, but from a person who has a perspective of not that. Up until now, I have lived a vicious cycle of paying bills, check to check, negative debt. So this is a negative to 100. This is not 0 to 100. This is negative to 100. So as of now, I'm renting a vehicle, and this happened because I had a vehicle situation some months ago. Did not have the emergency fund. So instead of spending the 1,000 or the 1,200 to get the fix to my vehicle, I had to spend maybe a week's check, which at the time might have been $450. So $200 for the deposit and around 180 to 90 for the weekly rental. And once I established that, I pretty much just kept it rolling. I kept it rolling. And we are about 3 months in. So just for perspective, that's what I'm renting. And that's my old baby. So just to sum up the video, to make sure that I don't start rambling and I keep things short, that's gonna be my next goal. All right. So I went into something that I did not have control over, but my mindset was still the same, which is that I'm an asset builder, I'm a wealth builder, and I do not blow up assets to save myself from small problems that I created, okay? And so I lost my storage units. I really didn't have too many more things to lose, because either I lost them already, or because of my situation that I created a while ago, I haven't been able to acquire anything. So, that's just how it is when you live in a debt lifestyle, okay? Now, I'm looking around, and now that I want to build, I have to figure out where can I cut the fat. So outside of cutting liabilities or things that's draining or not blowing up assets, I also have to cut the fat in my regular life. So I already started doing this, and I'll probably feature this later, where I budget every week. I started doing this the 1st of January, when I knew that I was going to have a problem, because I'm like, man, where's my money? So one of the biggest things I've already done was cut my food budget. These days I make egg sandwiches. I caught myself spending $10 or $7, $8 on Waffle House breakfast, and grits, I believe, are like $1.99 at the most, and a thing of grits literally probably makes 100 pot of grits. A carton of eggs, $1.99, $2.50, $3.99 if you want to go organic. Even still, that's a dozen eggs. 2 eggs, 2 loaves of bread, and some grits. That's a good breakfast. And I can repeat that for $10 6 times. And the only thing I'm really replacing is the eggs. I'll be able to buy 2 dozens of eggs before I even need to replace the bread. And the grits, ridiculous. So, I'm rambling again, but the point is, I'm downsizing in life. So now my next goal is going to be to downsize this whole car situation. It's a problem. And I rationalize it because if I needed to finance another vehicle, that would, with my current credit situation and my current liquid situation, meaning that I don't have maybe 2,500 to get a decent vehicle right now, I would have to finance, and I refuse to go through that again. Where they're gonna stick me, and I'm not gonna be able to afford the vehicle. So I justified this move by saying, well, if your average payment on a finance vehicle is 300, which I heard is more in America these days, but I'll just say 300 to 350, and then you have to have full coverage insurance because you're financing the vehicle. You're talking about 150 to 450, depending on your motor vehicle record. My $700 a month for this car. I was justified. I'm like, yo, I'm driving a 2020. Okay, I'm paying what I would be paying. I'm actually paying what I would be paying. I was paying less than what I would be paying if I had a real 2020. But let's just say I financed something that was in my price range, 2014 Altima. I would still be looking at maybe $300 a month plus full coverage insurance, which might be about $550, $600 a month, to take care of that vehicle. And that was so close to the rental that I'm like, whatever. But that's bull. That I don't care if it's $10, $20. In this case, $150. Even if I did have a new vehicle, like, no, man, no. Besides, I'm not going that route. The route I'm going is to either fix my old vehicle or junk it. And this is another part of downsizing, is understanding that the things around you, sometimes they may seem like junk, but they actually can help you out. So I know for a fact, because I've done metal scrapping before, but even if I didn't, I've seen we buy junk cars signs all the time. Now me knowing business, I do know that these guys will probably pull up and offer you $200 for a car. It got a full engine in it, like, that works. You just don't know what's wrong with it, and they'll make a killing. But at the very least, I'm looking at $300 for a vehicle that's just sitting in the yard doing nothing. And if I take that and apply that to something else, a used vehicle, then now I can get the ball rolling. So just to establish a goal to make sure I keep the ball rolling, I'm going to say March. I believe March 6th is the first Friday in the first Friday of March. The first Friday of March, I'm going to be done. I'm going to be out of this vehicle. I'm going to be out of my rental situation, and I'm going to be in a used vehicle that allows me to keep more of my income. So that's pretty much it. I'll definitely keep the channel updated with how my progress is going. And please stay tuned, because my next segment is going to be revealing my current living situation and how I got into it. Okay, it's not something I'm proud of, but it's something that I have to embrace because it's real. And the number one reason why I'm documenting this is because I feel like it's more of me out there. And when I say more of me, I mean that people who are in a bad situation but are not bad people. Period. I've always worked. I've worked since I was 14. I've always had a job. If you wanted to talk about somebody who sit up all day and eat up all the groceries and don't contribute, that's not me. That's not me. I have a very good work ethic, but that didn't make me prosperous. And I feel like people who can relate with me deal with the same confusion, where it's like, I'm working hard. I'm a hard worker. In fact, I actually might feel a little smart. I feel like I have common sense. And then you look around and sometimes it feels like you're doing it wrong or you're working too hard. So either way it goes, stay tuned in, because on my next video I'll be talking about my current living situation and not forgetting your plan, okay? Because I've been in my situation for a while, and it's because I started with a plan and then I forgot my plan. You know, life got in the way. Thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned in for the next one.